Pedagogies. It is indeed a privilege to be here among you to speak about this beautiful topic on English language and literature, the pedagogy for 21st century. In fact, we should not call this program as a workshop. A workshop has a different dynamics. But in India, everyone calls programs similar to this as workshops. This has to be called as institute. We only think a concrete structure as an institute. We call a Don Bosco Institute or an Institute of Technology, but actually in the world over, a program where young people gather and where there is paper presentation and where there is ideas and notions shared, that particular program is called an institution. So I welcome each and every one of you for this literary institution in the year 2019. I don't know if you really understand the word pedagogy. And I always feel so bad when even this word is mispronounced terribly by very many educationists. They call it pedagogy and they call it in different ways. The actual pronunciation is pedagogy. And when we are discussing about a pedagogy, I'd like to define it as a system of innovative education rendered to a group of ignited personalities for the betterment of tomorrow. That's how it is defined. And so when we will be here, when we get to listen to the keynote address, we will get more information about this particular topic and the discussion thorough. And now for the pedagogy. And we are talking about how English language, the language that you are specializing in terms of being a student of this particular department, and what an important role that you people are playing, and where and how you're qualifying yourself for a very important role in the future. When I take class in the college, and when I see people talking, I always pull them up for questions. I see some students from other colleges having little chat here and there. I will definitely call you to the stage. So you have no choice but to keep looking at me. If I see you turn your face and look at somebody else, I will pull you up and call you here for certain interaction. Because when you're talking about education for this particular generation, you people, you are called the Zedner generation. And the Zedner generation needs to be treated differently. And they say that if you want an education, and when you are designing that tomorrow as students of literature, and when you are going out to face the real audience, and who will be the Zedners, the Z generation youngsters, and then you will come face to face with the next generation as teachers and professors and as innovators and as linguistic professionals. You will have to face another generation, and that will be called as the digital byte generation. And so you will have to get equipped to face the future generation who will be all into artificial intelligence. You are all into, internet connectivity, and you are far advanced than the previous generations. But when you get to the stage, as I'm getting to the stage now, facing the Z generation, you'll be getting to face a much challenging, a much more advanced generation. So you have to equip yourself. You have to become experts in dealing with this kind of generation, which will be sunk deep into very many other new technological inventions which you are not into grips with. And you will become the technologically advanced immigrants, and you will be facing the audience who will be that particular technology's natives. You are called as digital natives, and we are called as digital immigrants, because when you were young you were already started getting to know about internet and digital technology. But when we were young like you, we never had a cell phone, we never had internet connectivity, or they had it in the higher ups, but we were not into those gadgets. So you'll be going to another generation which will be much more advanced, both in technology and in other forms of new innovations and new discoveries. And so you have to equip yourself into a modern type of a pedagogy. Now what are they talking about in terms of how to reach to this generation, your generation? And they talk about a few things. To talk about something modern, I will take you to the forest. I will take you to the ancient aboriginals, people who were from the then times, the hunters and the gatherers. And they were, first of all, when they came face to face with their own livelihood, first thing they have to do together as a people, as a group, was to make a choice. They had to make a choice to say, I'm going to hunt a rabbit or a vulture or an elephant or a leopard. So there were so many things available, and the first thing any group did was to make a choice. So remember this first C in education, that when you are facing modern young people for education, the first thing you need to give is choice. In our college and in our education system, I don't know how many kinds of choices you are offered for learning. You are, cursed to sit and listen to lectures. You don't have very many choices. But the modern future pedagogy, or the apt pedagogy that we need to give for each and every one of you, is choice. So if you come to a college, if you come to a good institution, if you are students in big number, say for example, in your class you are 50 students, you should be given n number of choices for you to learn. But now you have no choice. You have to sit down and listen to the lecture, and the lecturer is still the same person who gets onto the stage, and he will download information and you will take in, and then you will have to put that into examination, and you have to download your ideas, and that is what is happening today. But actually, good pedagogical system needs to give to the children, need to give for the students choices. When I studied in US, when I was doing a program on psychology in the Positive School in Illinois, they will put in the notice board the course details, and they will put different professors' name. And for each professor, you have to go, and the professor would put a lot of things, what he is going to do in his class. He will say, I'm going to have so many lectures, I'm going to have so many out trips, I'm going to have so many exposures, I'm going to have so many paper presentations, we are going to have so many field trips. So you will put all that, and you will put also his profile. I am so and so person coming from so and so background, I have so many qualifications and I have so many grades, I've been ranked such. So when we went as students, you read all the profiles of the professors and then you enlist yourself into any one of them. Suppose if Professor A, because of his standing, because of the programs here is going to offer, he is getting 10 students out of the 50, you know, you're 50, out of 50 he gets 10. And another professor gets 4. Another professor says, no written work, no exams, no only interactive learning. And he gets 15 people. Another person says, nothing special, nothing usual. And he gets 2 people, you know. That's how college is. You have to go to you're not going to a classroom, but you have to go to the professor's room. And then according to the number of people who are filed in, there will be places and you'll be seated in a round table and the professor will start handling programs for you. And his payment in the college depends on the number of students he is getting. So, if in our own department, if that is happening, one particular professor whom all of us think, and also our seniors say, oh, this man is very good, or that man is very good, and so we sign up with that particular professor. That professor will get more payment than someone who is having less students there. That is the kind of program foreign universities are having. Will it come to our country? Definitely no. It's never going to come to our country, because our country is still based on the Gurukula system of having someone on the stage who will be rattling out ideas which are not necessary, maybe which are not good, maybe which is obsolete, but nevertheless he's the one who is supposed to be giving everything to the students, and the students have to take it whether they like it or not. So the students definitely have no choice. The Aboriginal man or a woman had choice, but today as Z generation you have no choice. The professors and the teachers and the methodologies need to change, and we need to understand that we are not the source of information, because students can get information by Googling. So I, as a teacher, and the professors here, and all of us coming from different backgrounds, need to understand, and you more so tomorrow as future teachers and professors and to future entrepreneurs and future leaders need to know that you are not called to give information. You are called to be an interpretation. So a good teacher in today's pedagogical system is not a source of information, but is someone who can interpret. So you have to equip yourself to become people who can interpret events and not just give information. So from the stage, all of you tomorrow or we today need to get to the side. So you need to be not on the center but on the side, facilitating learning, giving students different choices, making some to learn forms in kinesthetic learning, some visual learning, some effective learning, some affective learning, some in demonstrative learning, some in experimentational learning, some in design thinking learning. And so there are lots of learning methods. And so when will we come to this level? Even in the world scenario, countries of Denmark, Finland, Japan, Korea, and some educational institutes in China, except these places, all the other places have the same pattern of learning as the sage on the stage who is lecturing and the students need to listen. In the north, in Canada and America, we have different pedagogical system where they follow lot of technology in the pedagogy. They use media a lot, and they use what is called a flip-flop method of learning. The flip-flop method of learning is this: when you come to the class, you have classwork, you have to listen to the lectures of the teachers, and then when you go back home, you go with assignments, you go with homework. So you have classwork and you have homework. The classwork you do it in the class, and the homework you do it at home. But when in a flip, it's called flip-flop. So you change it, you flip it. Flipping is changing it. I flip it. So the method, pedagogical method of flip-flop is, at home, what you do, the lecturers, the professors, the teachers, the leaders, the managers, tomorrow the entrepreneurs, they will send the information in in a form of a video and send it to every student. So what I'm speaking today, now, I will make a video already yesterday and send it to you yesterday, and you have to listen to my lecture, listen to that teaching only at home. So you sit in your own comfortable place, in a sofa or in your bathroom or outside on the terrace, under the tree, wherever it is convenient. You sit down and you you take your digital gadget, you take your iPhone, you take your phone, you take your iPad, you take your laptop, and you look into my lecture. And you look in and learn and study what is said, understand it. So the teaching, what you learned in the classroom, it becomes what you have to listen to in the comfort of your home. And when you come to the class, the lecturer is not at the stage, he is at the side, and he becomes a coach, he becomes a mentor. So he is not going to take the class again. He is going to, use what you have learned at home, and you are going to do what you did homework thing in the class. So you are going to do practical things. What you learned, you are going to apply and learn and do things in the class. You will be facilitated, you will be assisted, you will be guided, you will be mentored by the teacher. So this is the flip-flop method of learning, the new pedagogical form they give. So the second part is whether we can do that. This is not a far-fetched notion. We can actually try it out in colleges. And all the professors who have the courage to do that can do it. And you will be a better lecturer, and you will definitely cater to the Z generation youngsters. There will be more interaction, there will be more learning, and they will become more educated. But there is a lot of work, there is a lot of videoing, there is a lot of sending it across through the internet and sharing it and learning, and all these things need to be done. So when we started with the Aboriginals, I said the old man, the ancient man, the ancient person as we call it, he had choice to hunt this or that. That is the first C I said, you remember. The second C is, if he is now thinking in terms of hunting an elephant, he can't do it alone. He needs to team up with others. So the second C is collaboration. So the ancient man had choice, and to achieve that, he collaborated with others. So in the modern pedagogical system, they say you have to give choice to the students, and the second thing you need to do is you have to make them to have collaboration with each other. So a lot of team exercises, a lot of teamwork, and that's what we need to be doing. And after the collaboration, they need to communicate to each other. And so we need to have communication in the modern pedagogical system that you need to put in. So there is choice given to the students. The second one is you need to give collaboration, and the third one is you need to have communication.